Her jacket might have been pulled up over her head when she was shot. Yeah, that's the entry.
That's the entry?
Yeah, that's all. This is all stippling on her face. This is all powder burn. All those pock marks and everything, that's all powder burn.
She also appears to have been shot in her upper torso.
She's been shot in the face. That is the first official observation recorded by a responding Auburn police officer at 20:20 p.m. on Valentine's Day. Not a romantic dinner, not a bouquet of roses, a body. A young African-American woman found in the bushes outside a commercial business center, her jacket pulled up over her head, her face marked with stippling and powder burns from a gunshot fired at point-blank range. Think of a cell phone screen, still glowing, showing a string of missed calls from a contact labeled simply, Dad. That phone was in her pocket when she was discovered.
Blood. Looks like it could be blood. If so, that's a contact transfer, not a shot. But she clearly was pulled through there, then dropped, right? Everything's clean on her ankles.
They wanted to get her out of sight.
In addition to a small amount of blood spatter on the ground, police find a spent 9mm shell casing less than 20 feet away from her body.
Given the lack of blood,
I think it happened.
it didn't happen here, that's for sure. And it probably didn't happen here in the car. She was probably brought here convenient, out of the way place.
Yeah.
And the casing probably just got dragged out with her when she was pulled out. But she's been shot at least twice.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's some stuff in the bushes there, like a bottle, half-filled bottle of juice or something, and maybe some clothes. There's a shoe that possibly, most likely belongs to her.
Okay. No gun or anything though?
That we found.
The calls were coming in while she was already dead. That phone is the last living thing that still believed she was coming home. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Endless Crime, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. The car already knew. The victim was 34-year-old Anisha Howard, a Navy veteran, a mother of 2 young sons, and an employee at a local daycare who, according to her colleagues, was so punctual and reliable you could set your clock by her. She had never taken a day off. On the morning of February 14th, she never showed up. Her colleagues alerted her family. Her boyfriend, 32-year-old Calvin Jackson.
Later that evening, detectives head to the apartment Anisha shared with her boyfriend Calvin, their 2 young sons, and Anisha's mother, Faye. When they arrive, police pull Calvin and Faye aside and deliver the news that Anisha is dead. Faye is devastated, but Calvin remains oddly calm. Detectives then question them separately.
So Calvin, to be completely honest, man, we don't really have a good idea of what's going on, so we're trying to figure out information on Anisha, okay? Because we don't know who she was as a person or anything like that. And so we're here to, one, let you guys know what's going on, and let you guys know that we located her deceased, but 2, we want to know essentially who she was and what happened leading up to this.
Calvin tells police that Anisha was a Navy veteran, and they met in her hometown of Savannah, Georgia in 2011.
Contacted the Kent Police Department to file a missing persons report at 100 p.m., just over an hour before her body was found. Anisha's black SUV was missing from the apartment parking lot. Her mother, Faye, told police that Anisha's first alarm went off at 4:30 a.m. She left for work sometime after that. Calvin said he was asleep.
We've been together for officially together for 13 years.
Okay.
We kind of been split for like 5.
Okay.
Calvin insists even though he and Anisha were no longer a couple, they remained on good terms.
So you said you had an understanding?
Yeah.
What's the understanding?
That we just pretty much co-parent.
Where does she work at?
Daycare.
Okay. Is that down in Auburn? The one down in Auburn? Okay. Do you know what time she works at usually?
I think she has to be to work by 6.
Okay.
So she, I think she left for work. She was, I guess according to Mom, I don't know what time exactly she leaves.
Okay.
But I know her first alarm goes out at 4:30.
What time did she get up this morning?
Normal time.
Normal time. So 4:30ish, 4:45. Okay.
He said he hadn't been working for a while. He said he had been out doing some illegal thing, selling weed down at a nearby bus stop from about 3:00 a.m. until 6:30 a.m. He said he got home, went back to sleep, and was woken up by a family friend who told him Anisha hadn't made it to work. He called 911. He said he drove her usual route, searching for her. He said he had a bad feeling. He said he and Anisha still had a connection, even though they were split. But here is where the story begins to crack. Anisha's mother, Faye, described the relationship very differently.
But when police speak with Anicia's mother, Faye, she describes Calvin and Anicia's connection as much more contentious. Faye says Anicia tried to make their relationship work, but Calvin's lack of initiative as a partner, as a provider, and as a parent took a toll on her. So in the spring of 2023, Anisha asked Calvin to move out. But Calvin couldn't afford to move out, so Anisha and Faye agreed he could remain in the apartment until he could get a job and his own place. But Calvin was dragging his feet, and their platonic living arrangement imploded last week when Anisha discovered Calvin had gone through her emails behind her back. That's how he discovered that Anisha had a new love in her life, her friend Lori. The two met in June of 2023. Within months, their feelings for each other grew into something more.
She told detectives that Calvin and Anisha had been together for years, but his lack of initiative as a partner, a provider, and a parent had taken a toll. In the spring of 2023, Anisha asked him to move out. He couldn't afford to, so she agreed he could remain in the apartment until he found a job in his own place. Calvin was dragging his feet, and the tension boiled over just days before her murder when Calvin admitted he went through Anisha's emails and WhatsApp messages without her permission and discovered she had a new love interest, a woman named Lori, whom she had met in June of 2023. When Calvin was confronted, he admitted Anisha caught him reading her messages. He said they just talked it out. But Faye and Lori both told police that Calvin and Anisha had a massive fight. It left Anisha shaken and upset. Lori was unequivocal, "That shit don't feel right." And she pointed directly at Calvin. The car already knew. The evidence that would ultimately convict Calvin Jackson was not a confession. It was not a witness. It was a ride-share app on his own phone. While Calvin sat in the interview room, detectives in another room analyzed his device and discovered that on the morning of Anisha's murder, he had used a ride-share app to order a car. The app showed he was picked up at 6:22 a.m. near Lake Fenwick Park and dropped off at his apartment. Detectives immediately dispatched a team to search the park. They found Anisha's abandoned black SUV. Inside, there were bloodstains and multiple bullet holes in the driver's seat. They confronted Calvin with this evidence. He was asked if he remembered getting a lift that morning. He said yes. He was told the phone had location software he may not have known about. He said he knew. He was confronted with the undeniable.
Yeah, from the apartment.
So this phone does have software on it. I don't think you knew about. That does give location.
I know. I do know that.
Okay.
And my location's on.
Oh, I know. I know.
What the f***? So you are saying I did this?
Yeah. The question isn't whether you did it.
No, you already said it. Why? You
Why?
asked me why.
Why? What happened in that moment?
I did not. Can I just call my mom, man?
What do you want to tell Mom?
I don't know. Just tell her I'm going to jail.
The detective said, "So you were saying I did this?" Calvin replied, "Yeah. The question isn't whether you did it." And then, after a long pause, he asked Kat, "I just call my mom?" He said, "Just tell her I'm going to jail." What followed was the confession of a man who had spent less than 48 hours pretending to be a grieving partner. Calvin admitted he left the apartment that morning, went outside, and waited for Anisha to leave for work. He got into her unlocked car, crouched down in the back seat behind the driver's side. She got in, threw her purse into the back seat, and never saw him. He took her gun out of her purse. The gun was loaded. He sat there as she drove, contemplating it. He said he didn't want to do it. But he did. He shot her, twice. Then he moved her body, continued driving, and found a spot to dump her. When he pulled into that commercial business center,
Calvin realized there was a problem. Anisha was still alive.
Is she talking, moaning, making noises?
She was twitching.
I'm sorry.
Twitching?
Twitching? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And how did you respond to her twitching?
I don't know.
I think you do know. That's why you're thinking about it, because this is the kind of f***ed up part.
I don't want you to think about what you want us to hear. I just want you to talk about what's going on in your thought process. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you shot her that second time on the ground or outside the car?
I don't know.
After he fired the fatal shot at her face, Calvin disposed of Anisha's body in the bushes and drove away. Then he abandoned her car in the park and ordered the ride service to pick him up and take him home.
he realized she was still alive, twitching. He got out of the car, walked around, and fired a third shot at her face. At point-blank range, he dragged her body into the bushes, drove away, abandoned her car at the park, and ordered a ride share to take him home. Then, after she was dead, he sent a text message from his phone to her phone, asking about a maintenance man to fix the dryer, in what investigators described as an attempt to cover his tracks, to make it appear as though he was still trying to contact her. During his interrogation, Calvin was asked why he did it. He said, "Andrew, drive me to this."
With his confession on record, detectives press Calvin for his motive.
Anger drive me to this.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. I was so angry, man.
Okay, let's talk about that. What were you angry about?
Just everything, man.
Start with one thing.
Well, not everything, but, you know,
More than one thing.
just losing my family. Not just in
Why were you losing your family?
losing my family, man. Losing us. Her, the kids.
But I thought you still were with the relationship with the kids. I thought was going to stay there if you wanted it.
Yeah, I still have a relationship with my kids, man.
Was there an issue with her going to Lori with that relationship,
No.
that new relationship?
No, it wasn't even an issue with that, man. It was just losing my family. I felt like I was losing everything.
So she's not being honest with you and straight about her feelings for Lori or what's going on with Lori.
Yeah.
And that all contributed to that anger and rage, right? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Maybe. You might be right. I don't know, per se, but it would make sense.
Something put you there. Are you the kind that just snaps?
I think I did, man.
He said he was angry about losing his family, losing his kids, losing everything. But when detectives pressed him on whether it was about Anisha's new relationship with Lori, he admitted that was part of it. He said he snapped, but he couldn't explain why he had been stewing for hours before she left for work. He said he just blacked out. The detective asked him, "If you were running this investigation, where do you think we should be looking at?" Calvin said he didn't know. Then he asked the detectives, "What do you think the motivation of this one is?" He suggested it was a carjacking gone wrong, that Anisha went for her gun. But the evidence told a different story. The security footage from the commercial business center confirmed his confession. It showed him pulling into the parking lot, removing Anisha from the car, shooting her on the ground, and dragging her body into the bushes. It wasn't a carjacking, it was an execution, and it was all captured on video. The car already knew. In February 2026, Calvin Jackson pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison. The judge described the crime as a cold-blooded execution. The prosecutor called it an act of rage fueled by possessive jealousy. Calvin's defense argued that he was remorseful, that he had snapped, that he was struggling with mental health issues. But the evidence was overwhelming. His own phone, his own words, his own text messages, his own confession, all of it was there, in plain sight, waiting to be read. The case was not solved by forensic breakthroughs. It was solved because Calvin left a digital trail of his own movements, his own lies, and his own guilt. He used a ride-share app to get home from the scene of the crime. He texted Anisha's phone after she was dead. He handed over his phone voluntarily to detectives, not knowing they would find the location data that would unravel his alibi. In the end, he was not convicted by a witness or a confession. He was convicted by his own phone, the same phone he used to send that text message after he had already killed her. If you want to understand how this case was built, read the court filings yourself. The King County Superior Court docket for State of Washington v. Calvin Jackson is publicly available. Read the probable cause affidavit. Read the transcript of the interrogation. Read the filing that describes the ride-share data and the security footage. And then ask yourself one question in the comments: if Calvin Jackson had never ordered that ride-share, if he had never used his phone that morning, would the police have ever connected him to the crime? This is Endless Crime. If you found this analysis valuable, like this video, share it with someone who still believes love stories don't end in murder, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single breakdown of the evidence that actually matters. Turn on notifications, because the truth is always on the record. The question is whether we choose to read it.